Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. We need to have a discussion about something yet again, and this is the world of work. Something that we've discussed intermittently here and there on the channel, something that I'd like to get into again. I want to talk today about the world of jobs and the way that specifically young people look at them. In our modern world, a lot of young people, probably even most of the people that I know, even people that I know that work 9-to-5 jobs, basically hate 9-to-5 jobs. 9-to-5 jobs have been positioned and poised as the world of just hell, right? If you're a 9-to-5 worker, you're this, you're that, you're an office slave, you're an automaton, you're in the matrix, so on and so forth, right? And we've heard all of this before. Now, I've discussed and documented my work experience in the past. I didn't quite like working that much. Right now, and over the past couple of years, I've been running my own businesses. It keeps me basically out of a job. It makes me enough money to survive on, right? I do fairly okay, if I'm honest. So I run my own businesses. I know it's a unique and privileged position to be in some ways, but a lot of people are out here villainizing the 9-to-5 job and any kind of jobs. And I want to have a counter argument today. I've made a few videos in the past talking about why I don't like 9-to-5 jobs, why they don't really work for me. But let's actually make a counter argument, because I see everyone hating on 9-to-5s, on jobs, on all these different things. Let's talk today about some of the positives of a 9-to-5. Now, first we need to acknowledge why everybody hates these sorts of jobs. Well, there are obviously a few reasons. One of the most clear-cut ones is the fact it does take away all your time. And that is probably what affects most people the most. I think another one that's being portrayed a lot on the internet is that it's a certain sort of life. And what I mean by that is, look, over the last couple of years, we've had all this hustle culture, Andrew Tate, make money for yourself, escape the matrix. And that is good in some ways. I think it's empowered a lot of people to make their own businesses and take that leap. That's good. But it's also, in a way, vilified the counter argument. The idea that you are either a business owning success or a matrix office slave. There's no real middle ground. But the reality about running a business, as somebody who runs one, most of you guys wouldn't like it. Most of you guys couldn't do it. And I don't say that in some sort of I'm amazing and anybody who can't, nothing like that, right? Let's cut the BS from this argument, but let's have a genuine conversation about this, yeah? Most people who need to run a business or would run a business need to deal with all of these factors. You have no management, which sounds like a blessing, but it can also be a curse. You can very easily be the sort of person who falls off. It's happened to me in the past. It doesn't happen to me anymore because I've learned that lesson, and it was a very painful lesson to learn. But you can fall off. It's a hot sunny day today, right? Are you going to really do some work? You don't have a boss, and you don't need to do any work. Are you going to? Probably not. Then you're going to be directionless as well if you don't have a manager. Like I say, for me, I am, let's just take, for example, my YouTube. We'll call it a business, and it kind of is. It makes money, but we'll just use this as a very clear-cut and basic example. I'm the filmer, I'm the editor, I don't really make scripts, but I'm the script writer, I am the marketer, I am the comment responder. You have all of these jobs to do. Then you've got to make a schedule. And this is just YouTube. Imagine running a physical or even dropshipping business like I do and like I teach you guys how to do. It's doable, but is it difficult and is it more challenging in some ways? Yes, it absolutely is. Another big thing is that a lot of people misunderstand is the easiness of a business. A business is easy to run when it gets going. I've always spoken about business in my personal mind and success on a personal level in general as kind of being like a fire, right? So if you've ever started a fire on a windy day, let's say, or in a wet area, it's obviously next to impossible. But when you get that fire roaring, it's very difficult to put it out. It can rain, it can be more windy, it just makes the fire stronger when it's windy. You can't put a fire out very easily once it's winning, and it's impossible to start. So running a business is easy once you get to that, let's say, over 1,000 a month point. You've already figured out what's working. You've already figured out what you need to do to expand. You've got a working, proven business model. That's good. But we're not talking about that. Starting from nothing is intense. And people don't realize this. You've got a client hunt. You've got to put faith in stuff. You've got to put in days without getting any results back. How many of you guys can do that before you'd give up? So that's the counter arguments as to why running a business really isn't all that for everybody. Like I say, I run a business. I prefer it that way. I'm not somebody who works in an office telling you guys office life is the best. I run a business and I can even see these blatant issues with glorifying the business life. So let's now focus on the 9-to-5 life. Why, for a lot of people, that is a good option. Now, what I think a lot of people fail to understand is the significance and importance of these jobs in society. Again, we've got a lot of people now on the internet who have this superiority complex in a time, in a place where they probably don't deserve it. They're not superior. They make less money than a 9-to-5. They don't have the staying power and so on and so forth. So, the world wouldn't function without these jobs. The world would not function without these jobs. And people don't understand this. But let me explain it in a very simple term. You go to the shops, you get served by someone. Somebody needs to stack the shelf. Somebody needs to drive the lorry or truck that takes the goods from the port to the shop. Somebody needs to do the accounts so everything's in stock. If it wasn't for a team of office workers and employees behind the product that you pick up in the shelf, and then we can talk about the marketing and the business that made the product and supply chain management. If it wasn't for a team of skilled office workers, you wouldn't really have that much to do. You wouldn't have that many services to rely on. These office jobs and jobs alike are what the world is built on, and that really couldn't be changed in any circumstance. It's just the way it is. People need to do stuff for stuff to get done. Common sense when you say it like that, but a lot of people fail to even acknowledge this basic understanding in their counter arguments. So these office jobs get stuff done. They're essential to society. Number 2, the secure and stable paycheck. I run a business, like I say, and I cannot explain to you guys the emotional roller coaster that it can be from month to month. And I've even experienced this in the last couple of months, right? I've had some months in the last couple of months where business has been stronger than ever. Oh, our favourite horse from last videos back. If you're watching when we saw our horse, you scared me there for a second. Anyway, I'll speak to him in a second. It genuinely scared me because I just saw this huge thing coming out of the corner. Anyway, where was I? It's putting me off the track. Stable paycheck, clear-cut instructions, career progression, credibility in society, in necessary financial remits. We've heard in the past about how difficult it can be to get a mortgage if you're a business owner. People don't factor this in. And the thing about most people is their life will be better suited to being a employee. Most people do not have the critical thinking skills, the staying power, the emotional dedication, the financial strength to weather financial storms. I could think of so many different things, so many different potential issues that we could talk about for people who want to run a business. And that's not me trying to detract from it, but why do we villainize 9-to-5 jobs? And a lot of people do actually villainize 9-to-5 jobs. It is true. People don't understand the positive impact that these jobs have for society and the world in general. And as much as it might sound bad to work a 9-to-5, and as much as it would be good for a lot of people to start their own business, it's not so clear-cut as people on the internet want you to believe it is. You've got to try what works for you. And if the 9-to-5's working, it makes you happy, what's wrong with that? I know that the 9-to-5 is the most normal thing. So to say, I'm going to probably title this video something like, we need to normalise the 9-to-5. And I know a lot of people are going to say, yeah, we'll normalise the most normal thing. Obviously. And it's not me having a complete change of heart saying that running a business is bad. It is good. It's very empowering. But I know a lot of people who moan about the 9-to-5 and wish that they could do this. And I say, okay, so how would you do this? Or what would it be like? And they couldn't do it. And they shouldn't do it. They should do what's working for them. A lot of people are good employees and would be terrible employers, managers, self-managers. There's nothing wrong with it, guys. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Some people, the 9 to 5 works for, other people it doesn't, but we don't need to make it something that it's not. There is a very strong argument for having a 9 to 5, and there's a lot of people for whom it works, and we need to get back to understanding that.